So what is Supervive and why should you care? I literally never heard of this game until Steam Next Fest, and it took an ad on Reddit to convince me to even give it a try. And I'm super glad that I did, but people really didn't have a good explanation for what it was and why you should play it. Everyone said, oh, well, it's just a MOBA like League of Legends, and that's not exactly true. Or they'll say it's like Battle Right, but it's not exactly like Battle Right either. Not to mention, Battle Right took a long time to get popular and I think is in maintenance mode now, so the amount of people who even know what that is, well, there's not a lot of people. So, what is Supervive and should you care? Quick disclaimer up front, I did apply to be a content creator for Supervive and their team because I enjoy the game and I enjoy what they do, but as of making this video, I am currently not. If I get accepted while I'm shooting the video, I will make sure to update the disclaimer. So first up, it more fits into the battle royale genre in that you have squads and you drop on a set map and the goal is to eliminate all the other players. However, there are also PvE elements, as the main focus of the game is not just eliminate other players, but you need to take out mobs that spawn to get gear to level up and to enhance abilities. So maybe a better comparison would be something like The Hunt, where it's a PvPvE game. And the truth of the matter is, I don't think any direct comparison is going to be good because this game feels unique enough that it kind of falls into its own genre. Like, yes, it's a battle royale, but it's nowhere near a clone of Apex Legends or Fortnite or Call of Duty. Yes, it's got PvEVP, but that's not the same as The Hunt or any of the other extraction shooters that are really coming out. It's really its own beast. Some people are trying to put it in like the hero shooter genre, where, well, because you have ranged attacks and you've got set classes with set abilities, maybe it's a hero shooter, and that is a little bit closer because it has the movement kind of a hero shooter. It has the class-based system of a hero shooter. But you don't have like lanes like you would in a MOBA. You don't have like set areas where you're gonna go. It's very open. So why should you care about it? Well, let me just start off by saying if you don't like the Battle Royale genre, you shouldn't care about it because that is what this is. It is a Battle Royale at its core. If you don't enjoy those, you probably won't enjoy this. I have heard rumblings of other game modes, but I think that those will just kind of be secondary. The Battle Royale will always come first. I could very well be wrong on that, but that's where I feel like we're at right now. But I think what really sets it apart is that there is some skill-based stuff here. Now, it does have the typical burden of knowledge where, like, when you're playing a MOBA like League of Legends, where there's a huge roster of characters, you do need to know what each one of them does to be able to counter and play against them properly. Luckily, the roster is much smaller than, I think League has at least 100 champions now, 150. I haven't played it in years, but I'm guessing around 150? That's a lot of characters to learn. But I feel like there's enough mechanics in the way to learn in the movement, as well as playing the map and counter plays and things like spike mechanics and sneaking mechanics and home base mechanics. I'll talk about all those a little bit later, that there's enough crunch that someone can definitely set themselves apart by being a very skilled player without having to endlessly sweat like we saw in Fortnite, where people would literally practice building for 10 hours a day to be a pro at building. Now, obviously, the game just came out in like a demo for Steam Next Fest, so everyone going into it didn't have a whole lot of knowledge, so as that knowledge base grows and as people learn, that skill gap may widen. But the way I'm looking at it now, it looks like even a casual player who plays casually can gain enough knowledge and skills to set themselves apart without having to endlessly grind it, and I think that's a very, very good approach for a game. There's things like build diversity, item diversity, meaningful consumables, cooking, farming. There's a lot of options for more than just one play style. And again, even though we're early in it, I didn't see just a set meta jump up except for, caveat, the one super overpowered character, who you'll probably see me play in as a lot of these clips because they are the most fun, and I feel bad saying that like this is the most fun character and it's the role that I like to play, which is healing / support. And I will continue to play them after they're nerfed. It just so happens that that character is a little broken right now. A lot of the most interesting interactions I had in this game was with the spike mechanic. So how it works is you can jump and then you can glide on a glider, and that glider lets you traverse terrain or move somewhere a little bit quicker or get around different obstacles. However, if you get hit while you're flying, you will get spiked instantly downward. So if you're above the ground, you just hit the ground, you're okay. But if you're over a gap or a hazard, you could instantly be taken out of the game. And this creates really interesting moments because even in a fight where I was 1v4, I was able to win that fight in the entire game because I was able to use a cliff to my advantage and they were crazy enough to follow me and I shot them all down out of the air. Boom, I win. But other characters may have abilities that allow them to traverse gaps where they can't be spiked. Or characters who have even longer range than me who can just snipe at me while I'm camping an edge. It creates for really interesting moments and really interesting gameplay because you're trying to figure out, okay, what items do they have? What characters do they have? Do I guard an edge? Do I run away? Do I risk it? Do I use some of my abilities to flee and hope that I can revive my allies because there are revival points around the map? It's really dynamic and really fresh, and in the probably 20 matches that I played during the alpha beta, I never once had one that I felt was too similar to another. I didn't feel like I was getting stuck in a rut, like, oh, I'm playing this character again, so I'm just going to run this strategy and I'm going to do everything the same. Every time it felt like a truly different match because I was trying to figure out, okay, what are my enemies going to run? How should I build myself for this? The fact as a healer that I can go full damage, hybrid, or tank really felt interesting where, okay, I'm going to build a tankier build so I can take some more damage and really lean into support. Or because my team is lacking damage, I'm going to build full glass cannon, so I'm doing support, but I'm also dealing damage for my team. I felt that was a really unique way to pitch each one of your characters. The fact that a tank can go full damage as a tank, a healer can go full damage, or your damage dealer can go full tank. It really adds another layer to, again, that dynamic. Every match truly does feel different. And I really feel like this game is under the radar right now. I think when it fully launches, it has a chance of really taking over the scene and being a prominent player like Apex Legends, Fortnite, or Call of Duty Warzone. As of making this game, the subreddit has less than 5,000 members on it. Which I know Reddit isn't everything, but that's a pretty good vibe check to see that there's not a lot of people who know about this. And this was, again, just a playtest, a demo of the game to come, so the hype will build even more. And my job here is to get you hyped up for it so that when that next beta comes out or that next playtest or whatever it is, you should jump on board if you missed it this time around. That said, let's talk about some of the other cool stuff. I feel like every champion I played as was interesting, had some cool mechanics that made sense, and the art was nice. I especially loved the little moon rabbit. There was a paladin that was like a giant smiley face orb that I absolutely loved. Then, of course, you have your cliche sniper characters, berserking sword-wielding character. Some of them were tropes, but they were all good. I never looked at a character and said, oh, that character's so hideous, I don't want to play as that character, or I don't like their kit so much I wouldn't try it. Like, I wanted to try every character. And that's rare for me. Like, when I play games like Overwatch, I maybe play as 3 or 4 champions, and that's it. Character design, the way they look, is very important to me. The sound effects felt good. The music felt good. I experienced zero lag, which is, of course, super important when you're playing any sort of online game, but doubly so when you're playing any sort of competitive game. You want zero lag spikes. And something I've ranted about a lot is I hate toxic online communities. And so far, this game did not have that. Granted, again, that'll probably change, especially if more people pick it up and it gets a little bit bigger, explodes in popularity. But in a game where we were all learning, people were open to mistakes. They were open to learning. They were sharing tips and tricks. I never once got called a slur. I never once got flamed out or spammed or someone friend requested me just to tell me to go off myself. Like, the community was vibrant and happy and fun, and everyone was just enjoying the game. And that is such a huge thing. Like, a lot of people don't realize it until they escape it, but games like League of Legends and Call of Duty, like, that toxicity really wears on you, and it's gross to play with. And I'll take this moment once again to say shame on those companies for allowing that. It seems like Call of Duty is proud of the fact that you'll get called racial slurs by a 13-year-old, and they do nothing to stop that. Now, there were some cons to the game, but I want to caveat it one more time by saying this was a early playtest demo, so this is subject to change and they will probably fix these things. I felt like the tutorial was very lacking. There were some mechanics that I weren't even aware existed until I looked into my key bindings and figured out that certain buttons did things I was never told about. There are certain things that you just know from playing games for a while, like an item will say plus 10 AP, but like if you didn't play games, you wouldn't know what AP was. Like, that's not beginner friendly. Like, why is AP important for my mage character? Why do I want this? Same things with things that said that it had vampiric aura, but what does it mean? If you don't play games a lot, you may not know. I also want the game to have a more robust matchmaking system, but in all fairness, I say that about basically every game. More options is never a bad thing. But in a game where you can only play as one champion, well, it would be nice to be able to say, hey, I want to play as this character, so don't match me with other people who want to play as that character. That seems simple. Like when League introduced the roles where you can say, I'm only going to play this role, so stick me in a match where they need this role. That's very simple. I like that. We need that. I definitely feel like the pinging system needs a little bit more work. Since even though they have like a voice system, as we know, a lot of people, for whatever reason, choose not to use the voice system. We need other ways to communicate that are faster than typing in a game like this. And as of finishing this video, unfortunately the demo is over, so if you missed out on any chance to play it, well, hopefully the open beta will come back sometime around Christmas, hopefully sooner, but at the end of this year at least you'll have a chance to play it again. Steam stats show over 100,000 people, I think 122,000 at its peak, which means even with almost no advertisements, this game got some hype. So as I said, it's going to be huge. So it's time to jump onto it early. If you did get into the demo, leave a comment down below on your favorite champion, your favorite hero, who you liked playing as. If you didn't, tell me if you were sad you missed out. Had you even heard of this game before this video, before seeing all of this? And as always, have a blessed day.